Hey everybody, Omar here, the Knife Shark Guy, and I'm back with another knife review for you. As I've said before, I have decided to redo a lot of my old Kershaw discontinued videos simply because at the time that I had done that, the camera was shaky, I didn't have the decent lighting. Honestly, I still don't think I have decent lighting. But, I just wanted to give you guys a better overall view of these discontinued knives that I own. Unfortunately, I do not have the specs for all of the knives, such as the case with these two knives I'm going to show you right now, which are, now discontinued. So let's get on with it. So the two Kershaw knives that I'm going to show you today, which are now considered Kershaw classics and now long gone discontinued, is the KERSHAW Storm. So this is the KERSHAW Storm 1475. So once again, if you guys remember, they came in the old box with the American flag on it, which I've said many times I actually preferred far better than the red box they currently have out now. I just love that look on the knife, the American flag on it. So, and the other one, of course, is the same knife with some subtle differences. The KERSHAW Storm 1470, the much smaller version. So this knife was actually released first, and this knife came after. So getting into Kershaw, at the time these knives were made, it's kind of important for everybody to know that they really only had one designer creating all the knives, and that's Ken Onion. That's one of the main reasons why I decided to go for Kershaw, because as everybody knows, Ken Onion is no longer with Kershaw anymore. He left in 2010 to go join CRKT. He's been doing some wonderful work over there with a lot of his newer releases over at CRKT. He's now their premier knife designer. Back in 2009 and 2005, 2007, right around there, he was Kershaw's premier designer. So let's take a look at this knife. This is the KERSHAW Storm. The knife is made from T61 aluminum grade steel handles. The steel on this knife is 14C28N, which I said is a hair better than the Mo 13 steel they came out with a few years ago. So I just wanted to give you a good quick shot of look at the knife. This is a huge knife. It's a really big piece. Like I said, I don't have any specs for you, but I can give you a subtle idea of how big the knife is. I'm going to put the 1470 away for a second, and we'll get into that one also. So here it is, once again, up against the Spyderco Swiss Bowie. I do apologize for not having any specs. I tried finding some online, but the knife doesn't exist anymore, so you can't find a lot of the specs for some of these discontinued pieces. I think that's kind of a shame. I guess I could write Kershaw, but, I completely forgot, so I apologize. Here it is up against the Zero Tolerance ZT0900, also discontinued. All my knives discontinued. They're like either all discontinued or knives that you guys don't own. Some of you may own them. The Umnumzon, anodized. And the Sabenza 21. Put it up against that guy. Everybody's seen pictures of that knife. So it is a really big folder. The knife is just about the same size as the Umnumzon. It's a huge knife. Let's go ahead and get into the knife here. One of the main things that attracted me about the knife is the blade shape. It doesn't look very functional from what I can see. I don't know if anybody's complained about it, but it doesn't look very functional. It is, however, very pretty. I mean, look at that. You got that wavy look. It just looks fantastic. I mean, it's, it's still got a really good belly, but because it's shaped a certain way, you couldn't certainly chop with it, because if you wanted to chop with it, you'd need like maybe a straight line, like a Warncliffe style blade. You know, but it still cuts. You know, you could use it really well for other cutting tasks, regardless. The knife is fairly smooth. It only runs on washers. There's no ball bearings in this knife. It is a manual folder. The knife has this, for grip, this Tech Trek on here. It gives it sort of a really fantastic feel. They don't use this material anymore. I don't know why. It's a really nice material. It's fairly grippy on there. I do like the design choice of the holes on the knife, making it look like the Cyclone or something. And the holes repeat on the back with the pocket clip. There's a Kershaw logo right there. You can also see that the knife is made in the USA. This one is dated May of 09. And right there, if I can get into focus, is Ken Onion's name, for he's the designer in collaboration with Kershaw. So it's a really big knife. You can still find this knife on eBay if you're, you know, if you're a collector like me. People always ask me, well, how did you get started with Kershaw? And I always tell them, well, I just love the fact that, you know, a lot of their older knives are a lot better than the knives they have now, as far as design choices and steel. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other Kershaw. Same thing. It's fairly smooth, although this one's a little bit tighter. It operates, I forgot to mention that on the other knife, but they're both the same. Let me wipe off the oil on this piece. 1 second. Okay, so the knife operates manually with these thumb studs. If you take a look at the thumb studs, I haven't seen these on any other knives before or since, but they're angled upward to give you a good grip to deploy the knife. You know, so they just kind of, well, I mean, I can't even do it because the knife's a little tight, but well, actually, on this knife I can do it. Check it out here. There you go. So that's actually the correct tightness for it. This one's a little tight. I'm probably going to go ahead and loosen that. I just have, there you go. So I was able to do it. The knife is perfectly centered. So very nice there. The main difference between the 1475 and the 1470 is that on the 1475 you get this Tech Trek feature, you know, where it feels sort of like a carpet type, very grippy. This one, on the other hand, and I don't know this for sure, but I could be wrong, it just seems to me that the first few releases of the knife, they did use the Tech Trek, maybe, I don't know. But for this version, they decided to use this sort of coarse, sort of like sandpapery. You could pretty much see that on there. I mean, if you see my finger, it's kind of white because the skin's rubbing off on it. It's very grippy. It's also very grippy, but it's not quite as comfortable as the Tech Trek. Same material on the knife, T61 aluminum grade steel. Same steel on the knife. And if I take both knives and flip them over, you'll see they have very similar pocket clips. So everything on this knife here is the same as its smaller brother. It's just smaller. Size-wise, I think people probably enjoyed this version of the knife more than the bigger brother. I know I did. I know I do. However, to comment, I do like the Tech Trek on this knife versus that sandpaper coarse diamond, whatever they used on there. But for me, collecting the piece, the main thing for me was the blade shape. I mean, I just thought the blade shape was great. Like I said, I don't think it's very functional, but I do think it's a nice looking blade shape. I do enjoy that. This sucker is as sharp as a razor. I mean, I almost cut myself on this the first time I used the knife. It's very sharp, 14C28N. You can get that sharpened pretty well. It'll pretty much cut anything, so same with the big brother. So there you have it, the 1475 and 1470 Kershaw Storms designed by Ken Onion. I do apologize for not having any specs, but at least you get an overall view of the knife. And considering that you can't buy these anymore, you know, I'm just trying to show you what I have in my Kershaw collection. I wanted to have some knives that were discontinued. I decided to go ahead and collect all of the Kershaw discontinued knives. I'm very proud of this collection. Simply because, you know, I went on eBay, I went on Blade Forums, and I went out and found every knife I could possibly get my hands on. All of them were brand new in a box. I mean, you know, talk about determination. It shows you that I love this hobby that much. Persistence is the key. So there you have it. Once again, I hope you found this video fairly interesting. If you have any questions, leave some comments below. Like I said, I wish I did have some specs. I don't. The knife is just that old. You know, I'm just lucky that mine are completely brand new. Like I said, you can still find one or two of these on eBay. Maybe Blade Forums might have them. It's very difficult to find them in a box these days, though. Very difficult to find it. Doesn't mean you can't find it. It just means you have to go and, I mean, really hunt. So there you have it. The Kershaw Storm knives. This is Omar, the Knife Shark Guy, signing off, hoping you'll find this piece of sharp art in your collection. Thanks so much. Peace out.